Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the TundraDude34 YouTube channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a special video. May 23rd, 2016, I started this channel. That is just over 6 years ago. So today I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for spending all of your time here over the last 6 years. It has been a fun ride, and we continue on down the road to hopefully many more years ahead. Now I wanted to make sure that behind me in this shot today, you guys saw all the patches that you've sent in, because I am an avid supporter of the emergency services and the military of the United States and Canada. So I wanted to make sure those patches were behind me as a thank you, as always, for being the heroes out there that you are. So I appreciate all you guys sending in the patches. So needed to be the background today. So that's number one. Number two, before we start going over the last 6 years of the channel, I wanted to say thank you to you, the fans and viewers, because you've made this a great time. The reason I started TundraDude34 back in 2016 was to meet like-minded people and Tundra enthusiasts and build a community that we could come together and just talk Tundra, whether it be parts, whether it be trying to find Tundras, which is what we deal with a lot now because there's not a lot out there. Just basically everything about Tundra. It has been a true pleasure. When I get to do things like dealership walks, which are my absolute favorite videos to do, instead of just walking the dealership and looking at cars on a Sunday when the dealerships are closed, I get to bring almost 32,000 of you with me, and we get to look at cars together and then talk about it. The greatest part of this channel is we're all Tundra lovers, but everybody has a different vibe in what they like in the Tundra. Some like chrome, some don't. Some like the 1794 interior, some don't. So that's the fun part of the channel. We all get to come together and talk Tundra. So today, I'm gonna go all the way back to 2016 and kind of talk about how we got to the point we are today and some of the cool things along the way. So let's start right at the beginning. Another reason I started the TundraDude34 YouTube channel, I had a 2016 Trd Pro double cab in magnetic gray. Now, if you remember back in the day, Trd Pros were fairly hard to get. 2016 was the second model year, and I was able to get one through Galt Toyota. Frank, who was my old salesman, very good dude, was able to find me one. So I figured in doing the channel, I would just document some of the things about owning this truck, if it's anything special. We know that the old Trd Pros were built off the SR5 platform, so there wasn't a lot going on the inside, but I definitely love the truck. It had a great look to it. In starting the channel, I started to add small things here or there, just to catch everybody up. The Trd Pro back then kind of came with the same stuff, just a little bit different. It had the Trd Pro suspension that was made by Bilstein. You got blacked out wheels, body color, everything, Toyota Heritage Grille, Trd skid plate up front, Trd dual exhaust. You guys know everything about the Trd Pro. Bed stamp. I started to add little things along the way when I started the channel. Windjet was one of the first people to come on board and send in the tail lights so you guys could see. So if you've been around the channel a long time, you probably remember these. That I had NFAB steps that went on the side of the truck. It was really a lot of fun. So this truck taught me that, it taught me actually a lot of things, a lot more than a lot of people know. One of my biggest gripes with this truck was that I spent all this money on a Trd Pro. It's a super rare truck, but it really doesn't have much going on as far as interior features. Now, the first press vehicle I ever got, this wasn't directly from Toyota USA. This was from a dealership called Liberty Toyota that I still deal with today. Very good people up there, veteran owned, which is a big deal to me. The owner, Scott, was able to send me this truck for a week. This was a 2017 1794 TRD off-road. This is in that sunset bronze brown that we now call smoke mesquite, and it has that tan interior. Now, before we go on through the chronological order of why, I want to stop right here. This truck, having this truck, which I had, I think I was driving it for a week in January 2017, this was the reason we took the next step into the Platinum. This gave me the idea for what you guys remember as the Platinum Pro project, which if you don't remember, we will go over very shortly. I wanted to take an SR5 platform Trd Pro. It didn't have a lot of luxury back then. And now I'm in a 1794 that is the ultimate luxury in Tundra. And I wanted to see what it would be like if the Trd Pro came with luxury features. And you saw the Platinum Pro. This truck right here, though, this 2017 1794 TRD Off-Road, was the reason that happened. Once I got this truck for a week and started to see the luxury features and then gave it back, it made me wish that I still had all those luxury features, but the look of the Trd Pro. Hence why in May 2017, we bought this Platinum. So check it out. This is what it looked like when it was brand new. All right, obvious, normal Platinum, nothing going on. This is the last year before Toyota Safety Sense. It is midnight black, and it has all that chrome there that we knew we were going to take off right away. If you've never seen these videos, everything I'm talking about today can be found in the playlist section. This one is called Platinum Pro. It's the entire build. Now, this is what it looked like when it was purchased, right there. And this is what it looked like when we started doing things to it immediately. We put on Phantom. Ultra Wheels was the company, and they were called Phantoms, I believe, were the name of the wheels. They were 18-inch. We did 275/70 R18 BFG KO2 tires. This truck had the TRD Pro skid plate, the TRD Pro suspension, the TRD dual exhaust. We tried to do as much TRD as we could. The reason we didn't do TRD Pro wheels is because they were about $400 to $500 a wheel. So we saved a little money there to be able to do everything else. Now, this truck looked amazing. We took it off-road a few times, nothing crazy, just, on some dirt trails, in the Pine Barrens here in New Jersey. This had the NFAD steps on the side. It was a lot of fun. Now, as I continued to drive this, you guys started to suggest, why don't you put a supercharger in it and really go all the way? Since there was a lot of interest in this Platinum, I wanted to keep going with the build. I didn't want to do it all up front. So I held off on some of the things I wanted to do, and I put in the supercharger. Real quick before we go to the supercharger, if you take a look at this picture, I forgot to mention, I also, from sparksparts.com, I took off all the chrome as far as the mirror caps and the handles. They were gone. We body colored that. And as you will see, after the supercharger, we kept taking care of the body color. So this is the supercharger going in. I believe it was November 2017. There it is. That is also from Sparks Parts. And we have the promo code TundraDude34 to save you 5% still to this day. I used my own promo code to buy this. And that's what it looked like in the truck right there. Here's a quick before and after. So I had the TRD intake on the regular and naturally aspirated 5.7 liter V8 engine. And then we went to the supercharger. It was an amazing amount of power. And something that everybody loves is this sound right here. So take a listen. This is getting up to speed with that Magnuson supercharger whine. Check it out. Absolutely a great time with the supercharger, especially with the TRD Pro suspension. Like I said, the whole point of this Platinum Pro project was to see what it would be like to have a TRD Pro with all of these luxury features. You know what it would be? Expensive, and that's what it was. As you see in today's Tundra in 2022 that we will get to, there's a lot more interior features, there's a lot more stuff going on, creature comforts, plus that Pro package. All right, so we fast forward here to 2019, I believe we're in right now. And we started to do things with the channel that were a little bit different. We started to go to auto shows, which was cool. The Javits Center, New York International Auto Show, and take a look at all these Tundras. One cool thing that happened in September 2019, you guys know that I'm a big NASCAR fan if you've been around for a while, but Toyota invited me to pit road to meet my driver, Eric Jones. So I was able to go down there and represent TundraDude34 in Dover and meet Eric Jones, which was totally cool to be around, all these guys you watch every week in NASCAR. So that was awesome to do with the truck and with the channel for sure. Another thing that started to kick up big time in 2018 and really in 2019 were the dealership walks. I absolutely love doing the dealership walks, and I love doing the live streams with you guys to talk to you. We've done almost 300 live streams so far. Hopefully we'll do 3,000 more. But they're so much fun. But these dealership walks just to go and look at trucks, which I did anyway on Sunday, long before the channel. It's just good to just go with the camera and talk about the trucks, and then you guys watch the video and tell me what you think. A lot of you will even send in some of your video clips or pictures from your dealership when you do your dealership walks to be part of it, which I think is absolutely awesome. So at this point in the channel, we're now going into 2020. I'm just basically spitballing through the chronological order of the trucks and why we did some things. Every year, I try to do a video on some category. So we're really focusing on the trucks here and why, because I don't think I've ever really told a lot of these stories. So I had the ultimate truck. It was a Platinum. It was before Toyota Safety Sense and all the nannies and stuff like that. And we built it into a TRD Pro and we added a supercharger. You don't get much better than that. Unless you are a channel owner like me. And the goal of any channel owner, especially in my position with talking to you guys, is I want to drive what you guys are driving. And what I mean by that is a Supercharged Tundra is a great time. If I didn't have the channel, I'd probably still have it today. But in 2018, we got Toyota Safety Sense. In 2019, we got a new generation of TRD Pro Tundra where it was built off of a limited platform. So I was missing out on a lot of that stuff. Talking to you about a Supercharged Tundra, there's a low percentage of you that actually own the Supercharged Tundra. It didn't really make sense after a couple of years. I had that Supercharged Tundra from 2017 to 2020. So we did all we could with that truck. And I wanted to get into something that you were driving, a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter V8. So that's what I did. So I got now the Toyota Safety Sense. That's in the brand new Tundras. I got the new gauge cluster. I got push button start, Entune 3.0, all the stuff that is in the modern Tundra at the time. March 2020 is when I got that truck. So I was able to step out of the Supercharged Tundra. Did I think I would be happy going back to naturally aspirated? I thought it would take some time, but I was very, very surprised. As I started to drive this 5.7 liter V8 2020, I started to think and feel that the engine felt a lot more peppy. The engine and transmission that were mated together, that have been there forever, 5.7 liter V8 and the 6-speed, felt flawless. There was no lag anywhere, meaning, think of the times when you're going 50, 55 miles an hour and you have to slow down to like 35 and then get back up to speed. It didn't feel like the transmission was searching around. It just took off. Peppy was absolutely the word. Well, they got rid of the transmission cooler for the 2019 model year, and the engine went through a reconfiguration, and it just felt faster. It felt better. It felt more efficient. The acceleration was there. The response, throttle response was insane. So we did lose the transmission cooler, which a lot of people weren't happy, especially the folks that tow, but this engine felt completely different. Now, I thought it was just me. So I made a few videos to talk to you guys about that, and a lot of you came back and said you agreed that the engine felt a lot more peppy to some of the older Tundras out there. So I'm glad I wasn't crazy on that one, but man, when I first got behind the wheel, like I said, coming from a Supercharged Tundra, I was going to be a huge critic, but it was absolutely awesome. So we still have that truck to this day, the TRD Pro Army Green, which was the special color for 2020. And I fell in love with it more than I ever thought. I was calling the Army Green TRD Pro that I drive the Gap truck, because the point was I wanted to have something that you guys were driving between the Supercharged Tundra and when the next generation came out. This was going to be a truck to make some videos on, hold us over until we get into the next generation. Did I know I would fall in love with the truck as much as I did? No, because it was what I was trying to do back when I did those videos with the Platinum Pro project. Toyota really nailed it in 2020 and 2021 with these TRD Pros. You had the capability of the TRD Pro, which isn't too crazy. There's a lot better suspensions out there and everything. But for the average everyday person that's going to buy a TRD Pro, it probably will never see dirt. But it had a nice Fox suspension setup. It had a unique BBS forged wheel. It had the Heritage grille, TRD Pro stamped into the bed. They basically took the old TRD Pro and gave it some steroids. And now you had heated seats, you had the leather, push button start, Entune 3.0. The Entune 3.0 is 10 times better than the old Entune. 8.1 inch screen. It just felt very modern, leather wrapped steering wheel, small things like that that I always talked about, moonroof, that I thought Toyota, you know, if you're going to spend this kind of money on this special trim, they should have all the special stuff in it. So that was there. And, you know, I just felt like this is where the truck needed to be. So 2020 and 2021, not just in the Pro, but in a lot of the trims, Toyota really hit a grand slam to end the generation. Which brings us to the next point of the channel. The 2022 Tundra was finally starting to be released. It was awesome. We also started to see shortages happen a lot at this time period. Instead of going on dealership walks every Sunday, it became every other Sunday, and now I just hope to see a truck on the lot every once in a while that I could film. At one point I was filming 15 to 20 a week, and then it got to the point where I'm hoping they have a couple used Tundras. So the shortages started to happen. Everything really slowed down right there. One thing that was cool is Mike Swears was nice enough to make a little video clip for the channel with his Voodoo Blue Tundra in the background. So if you've never seen that, here is a quick clip of it. Check it out.
Howdy, I'm Mike Swears, Chief Engineer of Tundra, and you're watching TundraDude34 YouTube channel.
So I thank Mike Swears very much for watching and contributing. He is a good dude out there trying to do big things for all of us Tundra owners. And he's not just the chief engineer of Tundra, he is a Tundra lover and owner himself, as you see with that big lifted voodoo blue behind him right there. Another cool thing, I'm an avid NASCAR fan. NASCAR is something that I never miss. I've been a fan for over 20 years. I absolutely love it. In I think it was June 2021, I was able to be an associate sponsor on Christian Eckes's number 98 Thor Sport NASCAR Camping World truck, which was awesome, on his Toyota Tundra. Here's the pictures, you're seeing it right now. Absolutely love it. Some video clips of the truck coming off of pit road and going down the straightaway racing. So for me, that's like dream come true stuff, to be associated with the NASCAR team, even for one race. I happened to be there in the stands, which was very awesome. It was at Pocono. So that was very cool for the channel as well. But now we get into the 2022 Tundra. The truck came out. They were very hard to get. They still are very hard to get, very hard to acquire. But thankfully, Toyota was nice enough to give me a press vehicle. It was a 2022 Tundra Limited with the TRD off-road package. This is Crew Max. This is 5.5 foot bed, because in the next generation, you could pick 5.5 foot bed or 6.5 foot bed, for some of your Tundras with the Crew Max. So we take a look at it. It is a beautiful truck, supersonic red. It looks awesome in the light. And this was just the I-Force. This was not the I-Force Max. So when I first got in the truck, if you've never seen my playlist with this truck, go check it out. The first video I always do when I get a press vehicle is a first impressions drive. They pull it into the driveway, they hand me the keys, I turn the camera on and go. There is no setup beforehand. It's straight up. You guys see my initial reaction. Now, my initial reaction to that Limited 2022, it wasn't so great. I felt like there was a little bit left on the table. I was expecting, ground up remodel, brand new everything, which is what I got, but I think I fell in love with that 5.7 liter V8 2020 feel that we were just talking about so much that I was kind of disappointed in the I-Force engine. Now, after a while, through the week that I drove it, I was able to find the way that I like to drive it to where it makes it fun for me. They have some settings. Sport mode helped a lot with the truck, but just after a while, I got used to it. I loved things like the interior. I like the new features. Some of the things that they did with the truck were long overdue. A ground-up remodel was something that needed to be done. Some of you don't like the look of the 2022 Tundra. I don't mind it. It just depends on trim and setup. I thought this Limited looked really good. So after a while with the Tundra, I started to find, what I like about the truck and what I dislike, because pros and cons are very important, especially in my position when I'm trying to help you guys determine if you want to spend big money or not. So we drove around with that Limited, and then we got a good idea of the I-Force engine and what we thought about it. And then the coolest thing happened ever. And you think I'm going to talk about that TRD Pro, but first I'm going to talk about this. I was able to get my hands on a 2022 1794 chair, which is what I'm sitting in right now for my office. And we use this as our office chair with the big Heritage grill behind us from the TRD Pro. Quick Stand 2016. So I thought that was really cool. This thing has, all the electronics controls on it, the airbags, everything. I figured it would be a cool office chair, and 1794 is by far my favorite trim. But now, the even more coolest thing that happened is we were able to get a press vehicle TRD Pro with the cockpit red interior and the black exterior. I fell in love with that setup. I think the red interior looks awesome. When I saw the pictures, I wasn't interested. I felt like it was kind of gimmicky, but it is a TRD Pro. It's their exclusive truck, limited production, special edition. That red interior fits so nicely with the black. There are things you guys didn't like about the TRD Pro, which made me feel like black exterior was the best thing you could get. There's little camo features here and there. For those that don't like it, it blends very well with the black exterior. And more importantly, way more importantly, this had the I-Force Max engine, which is the hybrid. And that hybrid engine really, really made me feel like Toyota went the right direction when it came to the way to do this V6 thing that everybody's doing nowadays. The hybrid felt extremely powerful. It felt like the Supercharged days that I used to enjoy back in the Platinum, but the only difference is the truck just felt like it was a lot lighter. The transmission, you couldn't even hear the thing shift. It's a 10-speed transmission now, and it was a very, very enjoyable time. So I felt very blessed to be able to not only drive these great trucks, but to be able to talk to you guys about the great truck. Now, I'm still looking for a TRD Pro. But that sold me. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and the minute I got behind the wheel of that iForce Max, it changed me. Anyone that you talk to that's driven an iForce Max, you will hear nothing but great things about it. It's something that you really need to experience yourself. When you drive the iForce engine and the iForce Max engine, you could instantly tell the difference right away. When I got in the iForce, I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be, but after a while I started to learn to love it. But when I got into that iForce Max, the minute I put the truck in drive and drove out of my driveway, I instantly knew that is where Toyota needed to be, and that is where Toyota needs to talk to their potential customers. The iForce Max is something special. You all need to experience it. It's not just available in the TRD Pro. It's exclusive in the TRD Pro and the Capstone, but it's available limited and up. If you have the option to test drive, I strongly suggest you do with that 2022 iForce Max engine, whether it be TRD Pro or not. So that leads us up to where we are today with the channel. 6 years later, live streams are just such a joy. I love being able to sit in this office and talk to you guys about Tundra. And you know, if you come to the live streams, we talk about a lot of other stuff. It's kind of like we're all sitting around a table just hanging out. It's not always about Tundra. We talk a lot of sports. You know, our love for the military and the emergency services comes up quite a bit. Always got to give them the cheers. And I love doing the dealership walks and making videos for you almost every day. I try to do it every other day now because of my work schedule. Has been just such a pleasure and such a great time, and I appreciate you guys so much for spending your time on this channel to talk a little bit about Tundra, information, rumors, the installs we do, the reviews on the parts, all of that stuff. It's all fun to do. It is a labor of love. It has been 6 years, but for me it doesn't feel like 6 years. But just talking to you guys is number one for me. I absolutely love the communication that we have together. And here's to another 6+ years of doing it. So appreciate you guys being here. That is just a quick little rundown on why we did the things we did with the trucks and some cool things along the way. I hope you guys will comment below. Please let me know. This is the question of the video. How long have you been a subscriber of the TundraDude34 YouTube channel? So I hope to talk to you guys very soon. We'll do a live stream one of these days. And hopefully these dealerships get their vehicles back on the lot. We got to see some Tundras. I miss doing the dealership walk. That was my routine every Sunday. Every Sunday I'd either get out of work or wake up really early, go to the lots, walk the dealership with a cup of coffee and talk Tundra, and then come home and put up the video and see what you guys think. Because that's all I ever want to do, is when I make a video, especially walking the lots and everything, I want to see what you guys think about the trucks I was able to see. And when you guys send back your trucks that you were able to find at your dealership, it's even better because folks down there in Texas, you know, Cali has a lot, Gulf States, Toyotas, they always have a good inventory. Up here, there's just not much to film. But I thank you guys very much for watching. 6 years has been fun. Let's keep it going. Until next time, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook at TundraDude34, TundraDude34@gmail.com. Don't forget to let me know how long you've been a subscriber, and I'd love to know where you're coming from in the world when you watch these videos, because I am broadcasting to you from New Jersey. All right, have a great one, and thank you once again.